Hi everyone, I'm Howling and long time no see. I think it's been a while that I uploaded those kind of interview video. But recently I have super interesting conversation with my friend. Can I call you friend?
No, that's a privilege, you know.
Oh my
god. Just kidding.
My stranger, Houssein, and about the career choice and life decisions. So I thought it would be super interesting and amazing turn this conversation into an interview and share with my online friends all over the world. No matter you're in China or wherever you live in right now. And we are also thinking about making it as a documentary. So something that we always can look back on and in the future to see how far we have came.
Yeah.
And reflect on the insights we have gained. So before we dive in, I would like to introduce myself in case you are the first time seeing my video. So my name is Howling and I'm currently in Madrid, Spain. I just finished a double master degree in Europe and major data science and currently living and working in Madrid. So Houssein, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, thanks, Haline, for... Should I look to the camera?
No, it's okay.
Okay, fine. So, I'm Houssein. I am born and raised in Tunisia. It's North Africa. Left Tunisia to Germany to study. Spent there the last 20 years. And now I'm here in Madrid to start a new life and, try different things. So this is one aspect of me, right? And I can consider myself an IT professional.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting since we're talking about career, right?
Exactly. So went through different roles in the IT world, worked for different companies, and now I'm here, starting a new chapter in Madrid. So
that would be exciting, right?
Yeah.
New, fresh, new starts.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to ask you to get some advice for the new grants. For example, for me, myself, and since we have just entered the job market and start our first job. So, in your opinion, what are the most important things to focus on during the early stage of your career, and how would that advice apply to also engineers?
Yeah. Well, this is not an easy question, right? So, giving advice. I should first give advice to myself, but of course, looking back, especially also looking back to the experiences I saw from friends and colleagues, and so I think it's important to try different things at the beginning, not to stick to one thing until you find something that you really love. Now, there is something I always think about is we inherit how we think from previous generations, right? And when we go out from university or finish studying, we stick also to that mindset. I want a job to earn money, and that's all.
But that's the most important thing after you graduate. You want to be independent from your family.
Yeah, sure. That's of course being independent. That's important. But also, you don't have to stay at the same place for a long time, right? You can either switch within the company, if it's a big company and offers the opportunity, or move from a company to a company to learn new stuff. Because at the end, at the beginning, you don't know what you really can, right? You're going to discover your skills. At university, you usually follow certain curriculum, you finish it, and you're not the only one. There are thousands of others doing more or less the same, right? Or maybe around the globe, millions of others doing the same. So, from my perspective, I think university is preparing you to be just another copy of like many other people.
Oh, that's how you think about the education system, that you just duplicate labors in the market.
Exactly.
Really?
I think in most of the countries it's the same, right?
Yeah.
You follow the same rules, you do the same exams, and then you go out and you find that the world and companies are not standardized like university, and you find chaos, you find processes that are not clear. And that's why it's important, I think, to at the beginning to discover yourself, to understand, okay, what are my skills? Skills in terms of, let's say more like what is my talent? What am I good at, right? And what skills do I want to improve in the future? And also, of course, what you might have skills in a specific thing, but that doesn't grant you like joy. You don't like, for example, you might be like you have a strong body, and you can do many things with your strong body, but you don't like this kind of things. You know, you want to do more something intellectual maybe, right? So skills doesn't mean necessarily that gives you joy. Okay, so that's why I think it's important at the beginning to discover. Like try to understand yourself basically. I don't know. This is how I see it. So.
But you think like what you're passionate about is more important than the skill you have, like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say passion in terms of like what is your hobby, right? I like traveling, so I'm gonna throw everything away and go to travel. But it's more like you know, try to at the same time try to understand the market, because when you switch roles and switch companies, you're gonna understand the market better, and it's also something that your college or university usually don't provide you with, right? It's like this: academia and enterprise are separate. They hate each other somehow. So that's why it's important for you to go out there and discover. And also, in most cases, your family won't help you with that. Depends, of course, if your parents already studied and maybe active in the field you work on. But usually, I think in most cases, family will not help you with that. But they will still try to give you advice and tell you, do this, don't do that. They have no clue, but they will do it, right?
So going back to the topic, for the engineers, for example, for me, I think, what do you think about, when I start doing my first job, I should dive into the like technology skills or like soft skills, or like I should do both? What is most important things or skills engineers need to look into?
Now, that's a good point. And I will go back to my first answer. That's part of the exploration, right? You're going to discover your skills and see what makes sense for you, right? Do you want to go more technical? Do you want to go more into managerial path? And usually those are the big two paths, right? Technical, managerial.
I also prepared that question.
Okay.
It's the next one.
Okay. So yeah, that's part of exploring what makes sense for you, right? What makes you feel happy. And of course, there is always the question of money, right? Where do you earn more? And my answer to this is, because I'm seeing, for example, friends who have kids and they're trying to force their kids to do something because they can earn more money there.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, you can always earn good money if you are good at what you're doing. So it depends what you want to do, right? You can be an excellent project manager, or you can be a bad developer. What do you want to do, right? Developers are usually, they earn more than project managers in average, right?
I see the point. You need to be happy about what you are doing. Otherwise, no matter what you do, even though you earn more salaries, but you are not happy, you're gonna hate your life.
Exactly, and you're not gonna make any progress at some point, right? At some point you get stuck. Maybe you get like a burnout or something like that, and you feel, hey, this isn't actually what I want to do. I had another thought, but I lost it now.
No worry, I'm gonna dive into next questions because you mentioned to me like your career path. You're like before that you're a manager, but in your previous job, but you changed it to be IC, the individual contributor within this role. So what was the reason behind this decision? And what realize or awakening did you experience during that transition? For me, it's super interesting because for me, I think you go higher, you have to be the manager. And you be the manager, a bigger manager, managing more people. That's a career path. But you suddenly changed. For me, it's super interesting why you make that decision.
Okay. Now the answer to this might take 1 year, right? So you have enough storage, so we can. Yeah, it's not an easy answer, to be honest. So I've been an engineering manager at Snapchat. That was my last role, and then I moved to an IC. It was a decision. It wasn't a difficult decision, to be honest, but it took me time to realize, hey, what I want to do, what do I want to do? And I talked to many people, talked to professionals, like, psychotherapists. I talked to friends who are also in the field. I talked to friends who are not in the IT field. And for me, it was like, first, I can consider myself an anarchist. I don't believe in hierarchy. That means basically, I see everyone in a society or in a company as a person who is contributing to the growth or to the success of the company. I know that we, as humans, we tend to see, for example, doctors as more important than the cleaners, right? So street cleaners but actually both of them are contributing to the health system, because if they don't clean, then diseases also spread through dirt and so on. And there is actually a book who talks a bit about this topic called Bullshit Jobs. It's quite an interesting book. I really recommend it to everyone, because that was one of the readings that made me think differently about what is the value of what you're doing, right? Sometimes you're earning a lot of money, but actually what you're doing doesn't help society, or it doesn't even help you to feel happy, right?
But the impact is different. For example, the cleaning guy or person, that if they are not cleaning, it's fine, but the doctor is not working, someone may die.
No, if they're not cleaning, it's not fine. If they stop cleaning for just a few days, you're gonna see trash everywhere.
Yeah, but not directly cause someone die. Maybe it can cause someone.
It will spread diseases very easily. And actually, that's why I mentioned this book. It's by David Graeber. He's a guy. He's also an anarchist, and he thinks that. Now I know the word anarchist is usually negative, right? People think of anarchy like, chaos and so on, but it's more about being against hierarchy. And now going back a bit to the question, so I see everyone having a role, right? It can be a small task, it can be a bigger task, it can be decision making, but still it goes into making a company or society successful. And exactly in that specific book, he mentions a couple of studies that talk in numbers. So they were basically monitoring how the impact of cleaners versus doctors amongst other also professions. And it seems that cleaners actually, they are bringing more. Like for example, I mentioned one of the examples, in the 19th century, one of the issues they had in hospitals that spread diseases in hospitals wasn't that they didn't have enough doctors. They had enough doctors and enough personnel, but they didn't clean enough. And then at some point they started cleaning, and that's why nowadays, if you go to any hospital, usually the first thing you see is that it's cleaner than your home, for example, right? They're cleaning every day because that's important. But if they don't clean for 1 or 2 days or something, then it's not good for health. So cleaning is important. It's a prevention of disease. The doctor, I think it's the last step, when you are already sick and you need somebody to give you treatment. So again, it's a different thing of seeing things, and that's why now coming back to the question, why from a management role to an IC role. I think my answer was a bit complicated, but again, because it's a long process to understand, for me at least, to change how I see things, to think about like growing in terms of going up in the hierarchy, that's not really what I want to do. And also I changed a bit my definition of growth and success. So I don't see growth and success climbing the hierarchy or earning more money. I know some people, or maybe most of the people, see it like that. But for me personally, I just created my own definition of growth, which is I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm having impact, and I'm having good relationships within the company and also outside. And I'm having a good life-work balance. Usually they call it work-life balance, right? So work before life. But I think it's work should be just part of life. So life is the biggest thing, and work is just one part, right? Yeah, and that's basically it. Again, I still think that the idea of hierarchy and going up, so climbing the hierarchy or earning more money, we inherited it from older generations. For them, life was tougher. Of course, they did everything so we have an easier life, right? But that's the point, basically. They had a tougher life. They went through wars, or maybe they lived just post-war, right? So they were really starting to build cities and countries and societies and so on. And I'm really thankful for that, because they prepared, like I know, for example, my parents, they didn't really have a teenagehood, right? They started working very early, going to school and working, or my mom had to leave school very early. And then you think, wow, like in my teenagehood, I was watching MTV and, music videos and stuff. So that's why basically, and these old ideas, even though they come from people who we should respect, or we respect and love and so on, but they don't apply to our life now. They are outdated, and we need to think about life differently. And so that's basically for me why I moved, because I just created another definition of growth. And
okay.
Yeah.
Just dive into a little bit about the manager roles. Do you think as a manager you have to be online 24/7, like every time when there is a message coming, you want to respond, like more responsibility, make you not have the life-work balance?
This is a very big question, because it depends a lot. Depends on the company. It depends on the company. Depends on the culture, like the country where you're working. I know, for example, in the US, they don't give a shit. You're gonna work anyway. They won't even call you on the weekend.
US and China, we are in the same culture. We are sharing the same working cultures.
Yeah. So I guess there are a couple of countries where they don't give a shit about your personal life. Hey, you're getting a salary, so you need to work as a slave, basically, right? US, China, maybe also Japan, the same. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So anyone from Japan, tell us about it.
Yeah, we have a colleague from Japan in the office.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they told me, like, in Japan the working environment is more different, because they have the super strict levels. For example, if you're boss, you have to bow, you have to be super polite to them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a point. When he enters the meeting room, you have to stand up.
Okay, wow. In China, you don't have that?
No, in China.
Okay.
But probably in my company, like previous, like TikTok or Didi, they are super chill, like technology companies, so we don't have those kind of things. But for like company, the government company, you have to be polite with your boss.
Okay.
You have to call him boss, not the person's name. You cannot call him the name.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Again, that depends a lot of the culture, right? But I've been in companies where they expect you to work more as a manager or as an individual contributor. But let's say in general, the manager, of course, have more responsibility of different, of his or her reports, and then he or she's expected to be on top of things, to know many things at the same time, and also to work more. To start earlier and to leave later, right? And usually also, even if you are in PTO and vacations, you should be somehow connected. So it's not easy to disconnect completely. I know some managers do that; they manage to do that, and but I think in order to do that, you need to have good relationships within the company, so you can delegate your work to others successfully, to your peer manager or to your to the seniors within your team and so on. But again, it's but of course, and as an individual contributor, it varies a lot. But you are more likely to close your laptop and go home.
Only mind with your own business. Like this is the scope. Then I finish. Everything works fine. Then I go on vacation. And
that's why I switched from a manager to an IC, not to work less, but because also with time I developed like own ambitions and like personal stuff that I'm trying to dedicate time and brain capacity. So I need to have this like, shutting my phone and closing my laptop and just focusing on my personal stuff. So yeah, that's basically the answer.
And next one, I think you already answered this question actually. I want to know like what do you think about the impact of factors like promotion, money, and job satisfactions on career choices, and how will those elements influence your decisions?
Okay, now there is a dilemma that you might know since a kid actually, which is money, health, and time. Right? As a kid, you will have more time, right? You just go to school and then go home. You have more time. You are usually healthy, but you don't have enough money, right? You always want more, right? You want whatever.
Candy.
More candies or whatever, right? A bigger computer, bigger tablet, whatever, right? But then you go to university and you still have these, but you don't have time. You don't have money, right? You still have time, usually, not really.
Not sure.
Depends how
you manage your
time. Depends how you manage your time. But then you go to work and you figure out, hey, I'm working full time, depending on the country, but usually like 40 hours a week or a bit more. Then you don't have time, but you just have basically vacation and weekends. You have money. Usually you have also enough money, and hopefully you are still healthy. And after you finish, your career and you retire, you have plenty of time. Now, you're not doing anything. You're receiving pension basically. So you have a certain amount of money, depending how high is your pension. But you're not too healthy as before, right? So you are old and not too healthy. So this is a dilemma. You cannot have everything at the same time.
Okay.
At least most of the people. Some people, they have passive income, so they have money and time, and they're healthy.
They're born with money, some of the people.
Oh yeah. That's a minority, right? So we're talking here about middle class, so people like us who are within this dilemma. And the thing is, most of the people. Oh, let me ask you. So now I'm switching.
I like that part.
So, what do you think from these three things, like money, health, and time? What is the least important one?
Money.
Yeah, you see, and that's basically the point, because, and that's where we most of the people would tell you, hey, I'm working for money, and I want to earn more money. But actually, health and time are more important. If you think about it, it doesn't mean that you don't need money at all. You still need money. But the question is how to find a certain balance, right? How can I get the three at the same time? Okay, and also what amount of money do I need to live healthy, and to have time for my hobbies and family and everything and traveling and all the stuff, right? So what is that amount of money? And that, of course, depends on the country, depends on, you might have people depending on you, your parents, your family, you might have kids and so on. But for sure, there is a certain amount where you can feel, okay, now I'm safe, I can save a bit, and I'm living fine, and I can do my hobbies, and I can stop there. I don't need to do more to earn more. And the thing is, the curve the curve is very weird because you can invest much more money on working, but you're not gonna get much more money. So the money will
So it's
just
not always go up. It's not like.
it's not linear. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At some point it will be like
this.
yeah.
Okay.
At some point you will just doing a lot. Like a friend of mine, a good friend of mine told me, like, okay, now I got the promotion and I'm earning whatever, a couple of hundreds of euros more per month. I can afford a slightly faster car. And then what? Like, am I much happier now? You know, I'm working more, but it's just to change a small thing, or to maybe to get an apartment which is few square meters bigger. But you know, by working harder or working more, you're not achieving. You're not gonna go really to something much bigger, or you know. That's why I think it's important to think about the outcome. Right?
I think they have the kind of series behind these kind of things. I don't know how to say it in English. In Chinese, it's called 边际递减效应. Means that when you first get something, your happiness increase a lot, but after you get it, like it's going down like this.
So all this in that small sentence, all right?
Yes, I just think the name of the series is called 边际递减效应.
Okay.
Okay, that's kind of things like when you first got it, you are super happy. Then after passing with the time, your happiness it just goes like this.
Yeah.
But for me, I think those three elements is super highly related with each other. For example, the time. If I dedicate my time on specific things, the money may come with the time I used on that things. For example, the work.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not stoppable. Like you cannot say, okay, I'm gonna close my laptop. I can stop right now. Then I do other things.
Well, I think you should think a bit strategically. Like, okay, I'm gonna work hard in the next 2 years, but I have a goal, right? And the goal shouldn't be money, because actually money is not happiness. Money is a means to happiness. You know, it makes you do things that make you happy. So, for example.
Okay, so you're earning money to spend money to make you happy.
Exactly. So that's the point. Basically, you are happy when traveling. You are happy when spending time with family. You know, doing activities with family. And maybe for these both, you will need money. So money shouldn't be the goal. Money is just something you will need to achieve things. If you can achieve these without spending more time to earn more money, then yeah. So don't do that. So just do the thing that makes you happy. I don't know. Of course, some people might think, hey, what are you saying? I mean, at the end, you need to work hard to earn money to be happy. That's the equation that we learned since we are young. But at the end, it's more, again, like finding a certain balance between these three, and not just focusing on money until you forget about the rest, right? And many people do that.
Yeah, because for those kind of people, especially they're in their middle crisis, like they have a huge family. They have a lot of kids. They need to go to international schools, super expensive. They need to support their hobbies. The kids want to play tennis or whatever. The course is also going to be super expensive. Yeah, they have the family to raise. That's why some of the people they are pursuing for the money a lot.
Well, think about getting kids before you do it.
That's also a very good point that you need to think serious before you.
Yeah, I think it's good to plan a bit, right? Like to think, okay, how much will a kid cost me? Nowadays, you could not put your kid on working. It's not like 60 years ago. You know, you get kids to make them work so you can work less.
Okay.
I mean, it was like a business model back then, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I think until now, like in many countries, where in poor lower level, people would get many kids because they don't have any insurance and so on, and they need kids to work in the field or whatever, right? And but nowadays society doesn't work like that. At least modern or modernized societies. You would more like get kids because you want to get kids, and then think about how many you want, right?
How many? A soccer team. I remember that my cousin told me I want a soccer game, but right now he doesn't have any kids. Last question.
Okay, so this is the third last question.
Really? If you look back in 10 years from now, so what would you want to legacy to be, both professional and personal?
The legacy. That's well, professional. I think. Also, if I look now at 10 years before, like 2014, right? I think a good legacy is to. When I work for a company, I spend a lot of time with people, and I try to to build relationships with people. Of course, not with everyone,
like we're
but
doing right now.
with exactly with specific people with whom I feel comfortable. And
my pleasure.
and the thing is, this is quite interesting because we really spend time with colleagues more than with our families.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I call my parents once a month or once every quarter or something. It's like, like a feature release basically, just telling them, hey, what did I do in these 3 months?
Still alive.
Exactly. Just giving sign of life. But with colleagues, we are every day. Like we have meetings every day, either online or we meet in person and so on. So that's why it's important to see also colleagues as people, as humans, right? Not only as, hey, our relationship is just to finish the projects. That's all. You leave the company later, and you don't have any relationship with them anymore. I think also this depends a lot on the culture. Here, I don't want to generalize, but in the US, it's very like that. Very much like that. Like when you leave a company, it's like they cut you from the tree, and you're not part of. Like you don't get in touch anymore. Not everybody, but that's the common culture. In Germany, it's a bit less than that. You can keep in touch with people, more or less. I think here in Spain, the culture is more, people build more personal relationships. Not sure how is it in China. If a person leaves the company, do people keep in touch or?
It depends on the person, I would say.
Yeah.
For me, we are follow each other on social media. We can see each other's posts. Sometimes click the like.
Okay.
That's all. That's a relationship we have. But for example, I go back to China, I definitely will call them. Hey, I'm going back to China. Let's have a dinner together.
Yeah, that's cool. Even these small facts. But anyway, going back to the legacy. So I try to have good relationships with people, and keep that relationship in the future, even if I move to another country or to another city or to another company and so on. I think that's important to consider relationship with people. Also, I tend with time to think more of myself and as citizen of the world. So, especially now, not only now, but terms like nationalism, like regionalism, you belong to your region, or racism, you belong to your race and you feel like supremacy. And so I tend to go far from all this stuff and be more like, hey, we're living in a globalized world. We all use the same technology, watch the same news, and you see with COVID, for example, or with other issues that are happening, the war in Gaza or in other places, we are all affected somehow, right? Directly or indirectly, right? So that's why I think it's important to see the world as getting smaller and smaller, so we're getting closer. And that's kind of legacy I want to leave, and having a good influence on people, positive influence, but not like active or aggressive influence. That's what I'm trying to do in different ways. So yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my God, I never thought about that point, like building community.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing so much things, professional and also personal.
Yeah, that was too much sharing. So.
Oh, really?
No, it was all good.
I'm going to dig into more in the, I don't know, next video. But but it's super nice to have this conversation. And I think this video also will be helpful for my online friends there.
Anyway, next one is in Chinese, so
okay.
Stay tuned.
Thank you so much to watching it, and see you soon.
Okay, thanks everyone, and thanks Houssein for having me here.
Thank you so much to taking this interview. Okay.
Konnichiwa. No, that's Chinese, right? No, that's Japanese.
That's Japanese.
Shit.
Ni hao, that's Chinese.
Ni hao. Wo she Houssein.
Perfect.
So the word of the day is chill.
Yes, the word of the day is chill. It's mainly for me, not for Houssein.
I'm fine. She's under pressure right now.
Okay.